And a touchdown for the Hamilton Tigercats.
Hey all, Rick here from Hamilton Sports Central for another Ticat review. We did win last night. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. We won 23-20 over the Ticats, or over the Redblacks. We are the Ticats. Duh. So the game started like it normally has. Start off slow. We started with a penalty. Johnny Augustine did a rush for 8 yards. Then we threw to Tim White. He couldn't catch. Then Constantino punts it, and we get a illegal punt. So then Ottawa starts at their 40-yard line. From there, if we go up more, they get a touchdown on their first drive. Sound familiar to last week? Same thing happened against Toronto. Toronto goes down, scores a touchdown on their first drive. Then Bo gets a loss of 18 yards for intentional grounding. So we go from Ottawa's 52 to our Hamilton 37. Throws incomplete, then we punt it again. So far, we have nothing, and they have 7. Ottawa would come battle back all the way to our 38. Then Richie Leone would punt it. So right now, it's Ottawa 7, Hamilton 0, and we're battling for field position. On the next one, Johnny Augustine would rush for 5-yard gain to the Hamilton 14. Then he would get a catch for 10 yards, so right there, 15 yards, not bad. Bo would then throw incomplete to Lawler. Incomplete to Keandre Smith, and here we are again. Punting. Then Ottawa gets a, A rush, a pass, another pass, a rush for no yards. Then they punt the ball 43 yards, and then we get a penalty on Stubblefield for illegal block from the back. Or illegal block return. Ward gets a 13 rush. Then a 1 yard loss. Then throws to Tim White for 22 yards. So we finished the first quarter at the Hamilton 49 yard line. 0-0 or 7-0 after the first. Now if we can only get this to work. Oh, we want this first. So then we start the second quarter. Bo throws to Bridges for 10 yards. So then we get to the Ottawa 49. Then Woodmansey gets a penalty. So every time we go to get momentum, we always end up with a penalty. So Bo Levi Mitchell throws to Ward for 11 yards. Throws to Lawler for 10. And here we are again. Ottawa 38. We got an offside penalty on Tim White. We have to go back 5 yards. 1st and 15. Bo throws to Lawler. Incomplete. Bo throws to Lawler. Incomplete. Nick Constantino punts it for 51 yards. We get a single. We're finally on the board. So then Ottawa decides to take it at the 40. Brown passes to Andre Miller, 14 yards. Then he throws incomplete. Then he's sacked for 12 yards by Casey Sales. Then Richie Leone is punting it. And Isaiah Wooden Sr. returns it for 47 yards to the Ottawa 52. From there, it's now about 10 minutes left. Bo Levi Mitchell throws incomplete to Augustine. Then he throws 13 yards to O'Leary Orange, so we're now at the Ottawa 39. Throws incomplete to Tim White. Then he throws to Keandre for 11 yards, so we got a first down, 28 yards. So here we go again. We're making up steam. Both throws to Giovanni Robinson for 16 yards to the Ottawa 12. Passes to Lee Trey for 5 yards. So now we're at the Ottawa 7. And then he passes to Augustine for 1 yard loss. So now we're at the 8. So now we got to kick a field goal. So now it's about 7-4 with 6 minutes left. Then Brown throws an incomplete pass to Kalen White. Then we got an illegal contact. 10 yards. Again. Penalties. Brown throws to Pimpleton for a 2 yard loss. Then he throws to Keon White for 17 yards. Rushes for 4. Amos breaks up the pass from Hardy. And then Lewis Ward misses a 49-yard field goal. And Wooden returns it for 34 yards to the Hamilton 23. At this point, Bo passes to White for 7. Augustine rushes for 6. Bo Levi Mitchell passes incomplete to Augustine. He has a completed pass to Kenny Lawler for 10 yards to the Hamilton 46. Bo rushes for 4. Bro passes for 4 to Keandre Smith to the Hamilton 54. And yet here we are again with another punt. This time Pimpleton only returns it 11 yards to the Ottawa 29 out of bounds. Daniel Adnaboye would rush for 7 yards to the Ottawa 36. Drew Brown would pass to Pimpleton for a 2 yard loss. And then Leone would punt it to the Hamilton 26, and Wooden would return it for 4 yards to the Hamilton 30. So it'd be 7-4 at halftime. We go to the third quarter, the second half. We would kick it off because Ottawa won the coin toss, but they deferred it to the second half. So Leggio would kick off 64 yards to the Ottawa 16. Pimpleton would return it to 61 yards to the Hamilton 33. Reddy would be the injured Redblack on the play. Brown would throw incomplete to Miller, incomplete to Lewis. Ward would then kick a 41-yard field goal. At this point, it is 10-4. Augustine would rush for 3 yards to the Hamilton 43. Bo would pass to Tim White for 23 yards to the Ottawa 44. So we're starting to catch up here. This would have to be probably up there in the catches of the year. But Bo throws a 44-yard pass to Kenny Lawler, and we have footage of this. So then Mark Leggio would miss the extra point, and Pimpleton would return it 5 yards. End of play. Leggio would kick off 71 yards to the Ottawa 9. Pimpleton would return it 32 yards to the Ottawa 41. Drew Brown would pass Eugene Lewis for 16 yards to the Hamilton 53. William Stanback rush left for 1 yard loss. Would be second 11. Here, Brown would pass Eugene Lewis for 17 yards to the Hamilton 37. Drew Brown would throw a pass interception at the Hamilton 5. So this was the first interception by Jamal Peters. So he returned it for 0 yards. Augustine would rush for 1 yard loss. Bo would then throw incomplete. Nick Constantino would punt it 44 yards to the Hamilton 48. Pimpleton would return it for 41 yards. Daniel Adnaboye would rush for 5 yards. Brown would pass to Eugene Lewis for 28 yards to the Hamilton 8. And then Drew Brown would be sacked for 11 yards. So by Mario Kendrick. So that's 2 sacks now. That's 23-yard loss between the first sack, which was 12 yards. This one was 11. So that's 23 yards that you would have to make up between those 2 sacks. So there's second and 19. Drew Brown would throw to Pimpleton for 13 yards to the Hamilton 6. Lewis Ward would kick a 14-yard field goal. Which was good. So then, Levi Mitchell would throw to Keandre Smith for 19 yards. Would throw to Trayshawn Ward for 3. Mitchell would throw to Kenny Lawler for 8 to the Ottawa 40. Ward would rush for 3 to the Ottawa 37. Levi Mitchell would throw a pass completed to Bridges for 4 yards to Ottawa 33. And then Leggio would kick a field goal, 41 yards. So right now he's still perfect on the season and on the night. Drew Brown pass complete to Eugene Lewis for 16 yards to the Hamilton 54. Brown would pass to Hardy for 16 yards to the Hamilton 38. Standback would rush for 3 yards to the Hamilton 35. Brown would pass to Eugene Lewis for 12 yards to the Hamilton 23. Standback would rush 23 yards to get a touchdown. And then Lewis Ward would get the extra point. So at this point, it's 20 to 13. Heading into the fourth. We start with Lewis Ward kicking off 59 yards to the Hamilton 21. Wooden would return it 18 yards to the Hamilton 39. Which normally, if you don't take a return, you start right at the 39, 40-yard mark anyways. Bo Levi Mitchell would throw incomplete to Tim White. Bo Levi Mitchell would pass short to Tyler Chernowski for 6 yards to the Hamilton 45. Nick Constantino would punt it 60 yards to the Ottawa 5. Pimpleton would return it 105 yards for a touchdown. However, there was an illegal block return, so which it negated the touchdown, so no touchdown, and they also have to go back 10 yards from the 25 to the 15. Drew Brown would then throw another interception to Jamal Peters. This time he underthrows it to Daniel Adnaboye, and Peters gets the interception. Trey would rush for 13 yards. Augustine would rush for 0, so now we're at 2nd and 10. Bo Levi Mitchell threw a wide open pass. Tim White, which this should have been a touchdown had it been completed, but it was incomplete. So now Mark Leggio has to come out and kick his third field goal from 38 yards to make it, we are what, at 2016 at this point. Drew Brown would throw to Pimpleton for a 3-yard loss. Then Ottawa would get a procedure penalty. Drew Brown would throw to Hardy for 11 yards to the Ottawa 43. Rich Leone would punt 38 yards to the Hamilton 29, as I wouldn't return 4 yards to the Hamilton 33. Mitchell pass was thrown incomplete to Kenny Lawler, and then incomplete to Tim White. Nick Constantino would punt 62 yards to the Ottawa 15. Pimpleton would return it for 0 yards to fumble it. Recovered by Bantonay at the Ottawa 15. So Trayshawn Ward would rush 10 yards to the Ottawa 5. Lee Trey would rush for 1 yard to the Ottawa 4. Bo Levi Mitchell would pass incomplete to Keandre Smith. Would pass incomplete to Tim White. And then they try 3rd and 4 on the 4-yard line. He throws an incomplete pass to Brendan Larry Orange at the 1. Turnover on downs. So right now it's probably about 5-minute mark. 20 to 16. Ottawa's probably like, okay, we just got to kill the clock. Standback rushes for 6 yards to the Ottawa 10. Drew Brown rushes or passes to Justin Hardy for 0 yards. That should have been 1 yard, but 0 yards. And then Richie Leone hunts for 52 yards to the Hamilton 48. Wooden would return it for 12 yards to the Ottawa 50. Bo would then throw to Kenny Lawler at the Ottawa 30 for 20 yards to the Ottawa 30. Bo Levi Mitchell pass incomplete to Tim White. Levi Mitchell, incomplete pass to Kenny Lawler at the Ottawa 5. However, there's roughing the passer on Wakefield for 15 yards from the Ottawa 30 to the Ottawa 15. Bo would rush for 10 yards to the Ottawa 5. Sean Ward would rush the middle, or rush middle for 2 yards to Ottawa 3. And then here we go again. Bo Levi Mitchell throws to Kenny Lawler for a touchdown. Let's see the pass. And then from there, Legio would kick his extra point. So at this point, it would be 23-20 with a minute 54 seconds left. Legio would kick it off for 73 yards to the Ottawa 7. Standback would return it 12 yards to the Ottawa 19. Drew Brown would throw passing complete to White, who would then throw to Justin Hardy for 20 yards to the Ottawa 39. Drew Brown would throw incomplete to Eugene Lewis, the Ottawa 45. And then again to Eugene Lewis, incomplete. And then Drew Brown would throw a third time to Eugene Lewis, and it was turnover on downs. Augustine would then rush for 3 yards, the Ottawa 36. Bo would pass to Tim White to the Ottawa 28. So now at this point, there's probably about a minute left. Augustine would rush for 5 yards to the Ottawa 23. He'd rush for 0 yards. Right now, it's probably just under 20 seconds. And then Bo takes a knee for 1 yard lost to end the game, and for us to win 23-20. So let's take a look at the player stats first. So we're going to start with the away team. Drew Brown went 24 for 38, 283 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, average of 7.4. William Standback went 7 carries for 40 yards, 1 touchdown, 5.7. Daniel Adnaboye went 3 carries for 13 yards, 43.3 on average. Receiving, Eugene Lewis went 7 for 14, so he was only 50%. Had 128 yards, 0 touchdowns, 18.3 was his average. Justin Hardy went 6 for 7, 68 yards, no touchdowns, 11.3 on average. Keelan White, 3 for 6, 33 yards, 1 touchdown, average of 11. Anthony Goslin, 2 for 2, 27 yards, 0 touchdowns, 13.5. Andre Miller, 1 for 3, 14 yards, 14 on average. William Standback, 1 for 1, 7 yards, 7 on average. And then Cale Pimpleton, 4 for 4, 6 yards, average of 1.5. So leading the way for the defense, for Redblacks defense, is Adarius Pickett with he had 8 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a special teams tackle. For interceptions, they didn't have any. Sacks, they didn't have any. Lucas Cormier and Bryce Carter each had a tackle for loss. And then there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people with tackles on special teams. Lewis Ward went 2 for 3 on field goals. 41 was his longest, 2 extra points. 66.7 on field goal percentage. Rich Leone, 6 punts for 44.8 yard average. 57 with his longest, 269 yards. He had 6 punt returns for 78 yards, average of 13. His longest was 25. Lewis Ward had 3 kickoffs for 155 yards. 51.7 was average. 59 was his longest. And then Pimpleton for kickoff returns had 2 for 93 yards. 46.5. And then William Stanback had 1 for 12 yards. So now we go over to the Hamilton side. So, Bo throws 23 for 41. Again, didn't have the greatest completion percentage. 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, again, 0 interceptions. Average of 6.5. Johnny Augustine, 9 carries for 29 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3. Trayshawn Ward, 6 carries, 29 yards, 4.8 on average. Levi Mitchell, 2 carries, 14 yards, 7 on average. Antoine Milinovich-Litre, 2 carries, 14 yards, 7 on average. Kenny Lawler, 6 for 10, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns, 15.8. Tim White, 4 for 11, 60 yards, average of 15. DeAndre Smith, 3 for 5, 34 yards, 11.3. Giovanni Robinson, 1 for 1, 16 yards, average of 16. Jamar Bridges, 2 for 2, 14 yards, 7 on average. Trayshawn Ward, 2 for 2, 14 yards, 7 on average. Brendan O'Leary Orange, 1 for 2 for 13 yards on average. Johnny Augustine, 2 for 6, 9 yards, 4.5 on average. Gronowski, 1 for 1 for 6 yards, 6 on average. And then Milinovich, fullback, 1 for 1, 5 yards, and 5 on average. We go over to defense. Reggie Stubblefield, first game back in over a year after tearing his ACL last year. Leads the defense with 7 defensive tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Julian Hauser, 4 defensive tackles. Moxie, Amos, and Versek each have 3 defensive tackles each. Jamal Peters, 2 defensive tackles and 2 interceptions. Ray Wilburn with 2 defensive tackles. Casey Sales, 2 defensive tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. Davros Katratonis, 2 tackles, tackle for loss, and special team tackle. Mile Fox, 2 defensive tackles. Mario Kendricks, 1 defensive tackle, 1 sack. Isaiah Bagna, 1 defensive tackle, and tackle for loss. Tejon Garbett, 1 defensive tackle. Heston Talbert, 1 defensive tackle. Mack got a forced fumble recovery. Trevor Hoyt, 1 special team tackle. Lee Trey, 1 special team tackle. Ryan Baker, 1 special team tackle. Gronowski, 2 special team tackles. And Patrick Burke Jr., 1 special teams tackle. Mark Leggio would go 3 for 3. 41 was his longest, 1 extra point, 100% on field goals. Nick Constantino, 8 punts for 52 yards. 71 was his longest, 406 yards at punts. Isaiah Wooden, 5 punt returns for 73 yards, average of 4. Longest was 47. Mark Leggio would have 3 kickoffs for 208 yards, 69.3. Longest was 73. And then he had 3 kickoff returns for 53 yards, 17.7 on average. 28 was his longest. Now, if we look at team stats, so Ottawa went 38 attempts for passing, 280 yards, average of 7.4. Hamilton went 41 for 266, 6.5. 10 rushing attempts for 53 yards, average of 5.3. 19 rushing attempts for Hamilton, yards, 4.5. Ottawa has 2 losses for 23 yards, which were the 2 sacks, whereas Hamilton had 1 team loss for 1 yard. Net offense for Ottawa was 50 plays for 313 yards, 6.3. Net offense for Hamilton was 62 plays, 351 yards, average of 5.7. You had 15 rush first downs, 1 pass, 1 penalty. You have for Hamilton 15 rushes, 5 passes, 1 penalty for first down. Ottawa had 0 sacks. Hamilton had 2 sacks for 23 yards. Second down percentage, Ottawa was 11 for 21 for 50%. Hamilton was 14, 27, 9%. Ottawa had 1 fumble, 2 interceptions, had 1 DNS, whereas Hamilton had 1 DNS. Ottawa was 1 for 1 for fumbles lost. Hamilton 0 for 0. Ottawa had 3 penalties for 30 yards. Hamilton had 7 for 71. Ottawa was 50% in the red zone, going 1 for 2. Hamilton went 1 for 3 for 33.3 yards. Ottawa had 3 tackles for loss, while Hamilton had 4. Hamilton had 2 interceptions, as Ottawa had 0. Ottawa had 1 fumble return, as Hamilton had 0. Ottawa's 2 for 3 for field goals. Their longest was 41. Hamilton was 3 for 3, and their longest was 41. Punting, again, 6 punts for Ottawa, 269 yards, average of 44.8. Hamilton, 8 punts for 460 yards, average of 52. Punt returns for Ottawa was 6 punt returns for 78 yards, average of 13. And then Hamilton had 5 punt returns, 73 yards, average of 14. Kickoffs for Ottawa was 3 for 105 yards, 35 for the average. Hamilton, it was 3 for 53, average of 17.7. Field goal miss returns. Hamilton had 1 for 30 yards. Ottawa had 0. Time of possession, Ottawa 27 minutes and 34 seconds, whereas Hamilton had 32 minutes and 26 seconds. Just before all of that, with the game being on Sunday, we're going to be traveling Saturday morning, so I won't be able to record my preview on Saturday. What I'm going to do is Friday night, I'm going to record preview because I'm going to use my own depth chart based off of the practice, because by Friday night we will know who's in and who's out with the injury report, so I'll be able to put together the depth chart using my own for Sunday's game. And then Sunday, the review will actually be out Monday because we're traveling back Sunday. So depending on what time we get back, I may record it Sunday night and release it Monday, or if I get back too late, I will record it Monday and release it Monday. But with that being said, I do appreciate everyone for stopping by and checking out today's content. If you like what you see, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified once other content does come out on the channel. This is Rick from Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.